Welcome to another reading of Voices of Gehenna. Ak Moshe Ben Yahuda Yisrael, or simply Ak Ben. This is going to be the reading of chapter 5 of Voices of Gehenna. So far, I uploaded 4 chapters. Y'all been enjoying the story, the series, and I appreciate the feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 5 as we continue the adventure of Benjamin Hill, who is a criminal psychologist working at GSP prison or Gehenna. He's going to be interviewing some of the inmates that are being housed at Gehenna. In this chapter, we are going to touch base on it. So stay tuned as I now read chapter 5 of Voices of Gehenna. So let's get right into it, family. It's going to be a lengthy chapter. I'm going to try to read it to the best of my ability. Y'all just bear with me. Let's take this ride on this adventure. All right. Voices of Gehenna, chapter 5. Second day. I proceed to my workstation with my paperwork. I was dressed casually. I had on a green button-up shirt with a black tie. I wore a pair of black pants with brown dress shoes. Today I was going to be interviewing Herman Wright, Death Circuit, and Bojinka. My first interview was scheduled for 9 o'clock. Herman the Doppelganger was my first choice. Shanice Dream Cotton, the archfey, came and greeted me. She told me to follow her to the interview chamber. "How are you doing this morning, Mr. Hill?" Shanice asked me while we walked to the chamber. "I'm ready to do my job, Miss Dream Cotton. I'm looking forward to learning about these beings that most people deem to be myths," I replied. She smiled and chuckled at me. "That's wonderful to hear, Mr. Hill. Think of it as a learning experience for you and the inmates." "Thank you, Miss Dream Cotton. And by the way, you could call me Benny," I stated. "You're welcome, Benny. And you could start referring to me as Shanice. All this formal stuff can be overwhelming sometimes, even for us archfey. You may be a human, but I see you as a person." "I agree. All that formal stuff is redundant and boring. I'm fine with just being called Benny. Mr. Hill this and Mr. Hill that got people sounding like a broken record. Being formal with people all the time is the beginning of being an ass kisser." I ran it. Shanice laughed at my comment. I was glad to make her laugh. "You're funny, Benny. I think you'll be well liked around here," Shanice replied. We made it to the interview chamber. I spotted Herman Wright sitting across the other side of the glass window. 3 armed guards were placed behind him. 4 guards were to be placed on my side to protect me. The glass was bulletproof, magic-proof, and reinforced with thick layers, making it impossible for the inmates to break. Shanice decided to watch me, and I didn't mind her beautiful presence by me. I placed my things on the table and sat down. The interview was to be recorded on camera and tape recorder. Herman was sitting down with his arms crossed. He grinned at Shanice, but she paid him no mind. Interview number 1. Herman Wright, the Doppelganger thief. "The interview is in session," a guard shouted. "Hi, Herman Wright. My name is Benjamin Boaz Hill, and today I will be interviewing you," I said. "What's up, Benny? I'm glad you decided to interview me today," Herman replied. "I'm going to ask you a series of questions, Herman. The questions will range from life at GSP, what it's like to be the being you are, and random questions." "Come with many questions as you can, Benny. I'm down for any question you ask me, Herman said with confidence. All right, my first question is, tell me about yourself. The doppelganger grinned with confidence. My name is Herman Wright, and I am a fey being known as a doppelganger. I prefer the term changing because doppelganger makes us seem like we are untrustworthy. I have the ability to change forms. Tell me about the forms you change into. Well, let's see. I could change into humans, elves, dwarves, and brokenites. Taller and shorter races are challenging to maintain, but can be mastered over the years of training. I prefer to shift into humans and elves. I shift into a halfling one time to avoid the mafia hitmen. When shifting forms, you have to learn how to move and talk like the being you change into, Herman Wright explained. Care to tell me about the mafia story? I asked him. He chuckled and smirked. It's kind of embarrassing, but I will tell you some other time. Next question, please. Are doppelgangers created or born? Our kind is born like normal satanic beings. It takes a male changeling and a female changeling to do some horizontal dance in the hay. Voila! A baby changeling is born, he exclaimed. Shanice shook her head at him, and some of the guards cringed. Can your kind procreate with humans and other non-humans? Sure, we can procreate with humans, elves, and any eligible satanic beings. I doubt we can with a bulb folk, though. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that it would be called a doppelbulb or a change light? Although I did had sex with a bald folk woman before. Her body was curvy and her light head was flashing to the sky after I climaxed in her socket. Herman laughed. I kept my poker face during that answer. Shanice was disgusted at Herman Wright. You starting to remind me of that bald folk inmate I met yesterday. Oh, you mean Prince William Shineforth the Fifth? He's a charming fellow to the ladies. You know he has a rep of banging the female staff at GSP. I don't know how he does it, but I would like to learn his technique. You're just a pervert as that light-headed freak is. Shawnee's Dream Cotton ran it while scowling at him. Don't do me like that, Shawnee's. I can't help who I am. I am a master thief, but not a pervert. I'll work my way into a woman's heart. I never had to take a woman's flower by force. Leave that shit to the barbaric races like those greenskins. I assume you could change into a person she likes and woo her, I asked Herman. In most cases, but I got tired of it. I choose a form and work with it for a period of time. One time I shift into a hairy dwarf man. Believe it or not, I got laid plenty of times. This happened back when I was in Vegas in '82. Dwarves and Nahuas wasn't mainstream yet, but it's Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Your current form is a Caucasian man. Can you shift to other races? Like change into an Asian person or other nationality? I could change into a I could change into a man or woman of any nationality, race, or being of the non-human races. Usually, when I'm in the urban areas of cities, I shift to a black man. It all depends on what type of heist I'm involved in. For the bigger heists, I use the Caucasian form to blend in better. When I took on the Dwarven form in Las Vegas, it was like Mr. T had a short brother. I stood at 4'9" in that form. I had a swagger to last for days. Let's just say Big things come in small packages, if you know what I mean. He jested. For my studies about your kind, it says that changelings come from the union of doppelgangers and humans or other non-humans. Is this true, Herman? Yeah, it is. But I haven't run into changelings on Earth realm. I am a doppelganger, but I still prefer to be called a changeling, he replied. Can you demonstrate your ability to me? I would, but there's a problem. He pointed to the collar around his neck. Does that collar prevent you from changing? The warden makes the inmates wear these collars around their necks. If we try to take it off, it will give off a jolt of electricity to our head. One of these bozos has the key to remove it, but he will have to ask the warden permission to do so. It's a shitty process, but hey, this is a maximum security prison for monsters and high-powered beings. I'm just a thief and have no ambition for world conquest. I just want to steal, eat, and fuck many beautiful women of all races and beings of the universe or multiverse, whatever shit they call it these days, Herman ranted. The 30 minutes are up, a guard said. Thank God. His rambling about his lascivious behavior was cringe-worthy, Shawnee said. Thank you for having me, Benny. Let's do this again sometime. Maybe I will tell you about some of the heists I did in the past. Herman mentioned while being led back to his cell. Truth be told, I am glad the interview went smoothly. I know Shawnee's Dreamcott wanted to punch him. If the glass wasn't separating us, I believe she would have attacked him. I admit Herman is a cool person, but I still would invite him over to the cookout. Take a 30-minute break, and your next interview will begin at 10 a.m. Word of advice is to don't let Death Circuit get under your skin, Benny. He might try to ask you questions instead of giving you answers. Don't fall for it, Shawnee's advised me. Interview number 2, Basilio Tafala, aka Death Circuit. I prepared myself to meet with Death Circuit, a high-powered criminal that was born in Colombia, South America. He was the founder of a criminal organization known as the Sparking Serpents. The Sparking Serpents. He was born into poverty in Bogota, Colombia. His father decided to work for the local drug cartel to get his family out of poverty. Things went smoothly for a few years until his father killed an important member of the cartel. The cartel swore revenge on his father. Basilio was 14 years old at the time when his father took him and his mother and fled to a local village in the Amazon jungle. I will let Basilio Tafala, known as Death Circuit, tell you the rest of his story. The guards brought Death Circuit to the interviewing chamber. He was wearing his prison jumpsuit. Death Circuit was a Hispanic man from South America. His hair was black and styled into a ponytail. He stood at 5'10" and was built athletic. His skin was brown and he had brown eyes. He had an intense stare on his face. Good morning. You must be Death Circuit. I am Benjamin Hill, and will be interviewing you today, Mr. Tafala. Tafala, I said to him. I know who you are. Hijo de punta, he insulted in Spanish. I remained calm at his insults. Let's get this interview started, Death Circuit. Why do they call you Death Circuit? He rolled the sleeve of his prison uniform shirt. He showed me a tattoo of a serpent-like creature with lightning bolts wrapped around his left arm. This name was given to me after I was blessed with my gift. La Crosta has chosen me to be his vessel. I use my gifts for revenge, power, and to gain resources. Who is this Lacrosta? This Lacrosta? I asked Death Circuit. You're asking me some strong questions, Cavaverga. But I will tell you, this tattoo is an electric eel deity that the locals of the Vision Village that I grew up in worship. He has a shrine by the nearby river of the village. The Crowstar blessed me with the gift at the age of 15. I was at the gates of death, and all of a sudden I found myself awoken with the ability to use electricity. My currents are strong and can fry a person to a crisp. Basically, I am like a walking power line, Death Circuit answered. I assume you kill many people with your powers. Why use them for evil and not good? I asked. He refused to answer the question and flicked me off. Next question, Punta. So this Lacrosta deity is a old or new god. Where is his shrine located? You're really starting to annoy me, Kuka. Hey, guards, get me out of here and send me back to my cell, Death Circuit demanded. You will cooperate with Mr. Hill, Basilio, a broken night guard yelled. I don't care how tall you are, asshole. You can't resist my death currents. They will turn your overgrown ass into a pile of burnt flesh and ashes. I killed a few of your kind before. Super strength ain't shit compared to electricity. Brogonites and any other non-human races are worthy to be sacrificed to La Crosta. I dedicate all my kills of non-humans to La Crosta. Death Circuit boasted at the Brogonite prison guard. The Brogonite prison guard walks up to Death Circuit and hit him on the back with the club. Insult me or my kind again, I will show you the wrath of my God, known as Brogan Dalgon, he barked. Death Circuit grimaced. If this collar wasn't on my neck, your bitch ass would be toast, he taunted. The Brogonite guard pulled him out of his seat and threw him across the room. Death Circuit was on the ground laughing. That's all you could do, Punta. I could take it. Caprone, Punta. You ain't shit, Punta. The prison guard hit him a few times with the club. I watched in horror as the 8-foot tall prison guard manhandles Death Circuit. Truth be told, I'm glad this happened because this inmate was a disrespectful asshole. One of the Ark prison guards aimed a huge assault rifle at Death Circuit. Hey, Chuga, let's see if his ill God going to save him from this, the Ark guard said while aiming a laser-pointed rifle at Death Circuit. Chuga stopped beating Death Circuit. Stand down, Grug. I think he learned his lesson for the day. Grug, the Ark guard stopped pointing his rifle at Death Circuit. Chuga, the Brogonite, picks him up and begins to take Death Circuit back to his cell. Maybe next time Death Circuit will be more cooperative, Grug said. I didn't get to ask you about the cartel, I yelled at Death Circuit. Maybe next time, cabron, Death Circuit yelled while being hauled away. What an asshole this guy was. Even after getting his ass kicked by the Brogonite guard, he still has a shitty attitude. Anyway, I was going to take an hour's break and head back to my workstation. Bojinka was going to be my last interview of the day. The interview was to be scheduled at 2 in the afternoon. I just hope this girl doesn't raise my blood pressure with her banter. So, all right, family, that was chapter 5 of Voices of Gehenna. Very intense chapter. Benny got to interview Herman Wright, the doppelganger, which is a shapeshifter. He's a shapeshifter, he could shift into other people's forms, and he interviewed Basilio Tafala, aka Death Circuit, which is a Colombian alpha human villain who has the power to control electricity. He was granted this power from some type of electric eel deity somewhere in South America, And you see, he was very disrespectful to Benny, calling him out his name in Spanish and all that. So yeah, I tell you what, I read that fast. I read that kind of fast. I think I might try to do chapter 6 too, you know. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down, family. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna probably premiere this on my channel. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. This went by fast. It's chapter 5, so I'm probably trying to read chapter 6. Thank y'all for listening. Let me know what y'all think when I premiere this. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thank y'all for listening in advance.